Hey guys, you're still tuned in here with us at Vbuzz with Shankri and myself, Jay Walia. Now, before the break, of course, we were speaking to Dr. Jeeta about, a healthy body, about acid reflux and the likes of that as well. But it's not enough to just, have a healthy body. The environment that you surround yourself in plays a big part as well.
True.
And we spend a lot of time at work, right? Now, the inner workings of a company should ideally function like a well-oiled machine where several parts coordinate effectively as a whole. A key aspect to realizing this ideal is creating a healthy, happy work environment. However, it's important to note that the responsibility of creating a healthy work environment doesn't just fall into the lap of the employer. As an employee, it is also your responsibility and our responsibility to contribute to a healthy work environment. We chat with certified NLP and timeline therapy trainer Sheila Singam of Human Equation to find out why a healthy work environment is so important and how we should be making a contribution towards it. Welcome back to Vbuzz, Sheila.
Thank you. Always an honor to have you on this show, Sheila. So let's dive right into the topic, all right?
Okay.
So what are some of the characteristics of a healthy workplace?
Okay, there's two aspects that I would think of. A portion of a healthy workplace is contributed to by the physical environment. So you've got to have a conducive environment for people to work. Nice colors, comfortable furniture, good space, amount of space, so you're not bumping into each other. It shouldn't be cluttered. And of course, a nice pantry helps, you're showing people that you value them. So that's a physical environment, good lighting and all that. Windows, natural light. The other thing, of course, is the people. All right. So a healthy working environment is one where you feel safe. You feel that you are valued, you are happy to be working there. It's one where people work as a team, all right, they're collaborating, they're producing good work, they feel fulfilled, they feel appreciated. Ideas are being exchanged, ideas are being generated, there's creativity, there's healthy competition, but there's no threat. People don't feel threatened by somebody else. It's coming up with great ideas. You're always rooting for the guy who's doing good work, being happy for him.
It's a whole family, basically.
It's a
right?
family. It's like, when you go to work, it's just like going to another place where you enjoy being. Now, I talk to a number of people. I do training. I talk to a number of people and say, first question I ask them, how many of you get up, and say, yay, I'm going to work today? And everybody just looks at me like, are you crazy? Whoever does that. But that's it. That's a healthy working environment where someone gets up and says, I love going to work today and meeting people and talking to my boss and, just being there and creating and producing and being fulfilled.
And
I know I do.
Exactly.
I'm always happy to come to work, always.
Exactly. And
So am I.
It's one thing, when you learn to love your job and also loving the place that you go to do the job itself, But in your time, in your experience, meeting and training people itself, how would you say a healthy work environment boosts business performance?
Well, a lot of companies today think that business performance depends on their fixed assets, their software,
The numbers
their
and stuff.
technology, salespeople going out and just selling and bringing in, the business. But what they fail to understand is that employees who are engaged, employees who are happy in a healthy work environment, they're going to be fulfilled. They're going to want more. They're going to want to achieve more. They're going to feel more free to express themselves with creative ideas. And you and I know that business grows when you generate new creative ideas. So people will feel, hey, I can come up with a new idea, and there are companies like that. Come up with a new idea, and if you take it on and it makes money, you get a great incentive, So people will be more productive. They take more ownership of the business. When they see that they're being heard, they're being appreciated, they take more ownership. So when they take more ownership, the onus to satisfy the customer, go above and beyond the call of duty, go the extra mile, so to speak, to make the customer happy to do more, it's there, right? Also the fact that when people are really happy, you will see less absenteeism. You'll see less medical leave, you'll see less accidents, you'll see less defects and, that sort of thing, less turnover. All of that actually translates to money as well, because it costs more to hire a new employee and train a new employee rather than to attempt to retain one who's thinking of leaving, you know. So all of this, when you have less MCs, you got to get less people to, you don't have to get more people to replace the workforce. That also translates to money. So overall, you must look at it from the big picture. If you go and tell employers today, if your people are happier, it's going to translate to more productivity and better business performance, and they're like, show me the numbers.
Yeah,
These are intangibles, and it happens over a healthy work environment doesn't happen overnight.
Exactly,
No.
Okay, because a lot of it has to do with trust. If the work environment has been unhealthy, and suddenly you go and say, hey guys, we're going to create this healthy work environment, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, renovate the office, and you know, have all these forums for exchange of ideas, now people are going to be like really suspicious.
Yeah.
So it happens over a period of time.
Very true. You know, everything takes time. Anything at all, you know, you have to build it from relationships to a pleasant environment. And what you just said just now, Sheila, reminded me of this Disney animation. These days, Disney have this little animated piece before an entire movie. And one of its animation was about this man who was very dull at work, and everyone did the same thing. No one talked to each other. And then after that, he comes in and he colors the whole place, and then everyone gets so happy and they party at their workplace. So that is the physical aspect of it, right? So let's speak about the physical aspect. Do the employers need to take into consideration all of the needs of their employees from different facets of their lives, like family and having children, to provide them with a positive and physical environment?
Okay, I'll give you a little story to answer that. I did training for a bunch of people, very, very unhappy people. Employee engagement scores are very low. And one of the reasons was many of them, you know, 6 o'clock on a Friday, you want to go back, spend time with your family. You've made plans to go off for the weekend. At 6 o'clock on a Friday, you're called to stay back for a meeting until 10 o'clock at night. Now you tell me, are those employees going to be happy?
No.
Are those employees going to be happy to be told at 10 o'clock at night, guys, we haven't finished, you got to come back tomorrow. And you've promised that you're going to take your kids for a movie, to the park and so on. Another case where an employee was going to take her kids to Disneyland in Hong Kong with her husband. And she's going to the airport. And they've arrived at the airport. She gets a call from employer saying, look, I have to call you back. You have to cancel your leave and you have to come back. Something urgent has taken place. So for me, I feel that no matter how important something is, nobody is indispensable. When someone has to go spend time with their family and all, the employer has to find someone else to take over that role. You cannot disrespect people's needs, people's values. All right, you cannot expect people to be there and give 100% and give their all to your organization at the expense of their family life, their marriages, their health, their emotional and physical health. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Great.
And also the physical setting of the office, should it, if it accommodates their need, like having a nursery for children, would that be a more positive workplace?
I think, you know, ideally, any company which has got a large proportion of working mothers should have a creche, you know, something, invest. I mean, they don't have to pay for it. They can subsidize it to a certain extent and let the families, the mothers, you know, and families pay for it. At least it's good, like lunchtime, I can go and see my kids are doing okay, spend a little bit of time. I'm sure employees are not going to abuse it by going and sitting down there and playing with their kids during working time. Yes, a physical environment is important. I mean, look, in the home, in your home, how you set up your space, is it important?
Yep.
You take a lot of time to choose the colors, the furniture, the accessories. I'm sure you want to say a home with lots of light, natural light coming in, you know. But then a lot of offices, you go in
the
and
opposite of that.
it's really opposite. It's terrible. Everything's grey. The wall is grey, the carpet is grey, the furniture is grey. There are boxes and papers and everything everywhere. It's so messy, you know. And sometimes when I go in and I have meetings at these places and they take me through the office.
You get a weird vibe there.
And you get a vibe. You get a vibe and you see people, they're looking so miserable over
But
there.
there are two sides of the coin, because you do have the more sort of, as I call it, the old school offices, you know, that you just described. And then you've got at the newer offices, more like, with what startups do itself, it's very bright, very colorful. And you mentioned earlier, having a nice pantry, the likes of that does help as well. But in your opinion, some offices have like video games, foosball tables and stuff like that, What are your thoughts on that? Does that actually help promote, better work, or does it sort of let them slack off a bit?
Okay, you would tend to think that such, facilities will sort of really gel with, advertising companies and, creative tech companies and all that. But I did some training with a finance-oriented company, insurance company, very straight finance, traditional. But after they understood the importance of employee engagement and in a conducive environment, they actually had a room where, you could actually go there and play virtual games, virtual tennis and all that. They had a coffee bar and you had karaoke and stuff like that. But you know what? Nobody ever abused it.
Oh.
People used it in a lunch break or people used it after hours.
Yeah.
But nobody ever just went there to lepak during working hours.
Very interesting, Sheila, because even I have been to an office here in PJ. They actually have a wall for people to vent out. So you get paintballs and you just throw it at the wall if you're really angry. After that, you go back to work. Having this sort of environment where you are given the freedom to do something, to just release your stress, is it positive because it builds a stronger bond and trust between employer and employee?
You see, when you give people the freedom to express themselves, in a way you're giving them trust.
Yeah.
All right? Do people respond positively when they are given trust?
Yep.
Of course they do. You from your own experience.
Yeah.
And your employer trusts you to make decisions, trusts you to do your work. Don't you feel more validated, more valued?
Yeah.
I feel that rigidity curbs freedom. It curbs creativity. And today, so many organizations in Malaysia, I'm like, 9 to 5. If you're working 9 to 5, you must be there at 9. You can't come at 9:05, huh? Because you have to clock in and then, we can penalize you. And if you come at 9:05, you're deemed as being late. I'm like, hey, you know what I mean? There's so many organizations that are working, allowing people to work from home, flexi hours and all that. If you don't have to work according to those hours, then why not let people have the flexibility as long as they're delivering what's expected of them? They're clocking in their 8 hours from wherever. That's fine, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm all for that.
Yep, me too.
Of course, everyone always tends to think that it's the employer's responsibility to do it, or it's your company, your office, you should handle it. Why do we have a responsibility to actually make sure that our work environment, not just for ourselves, but for our colleagues as well, is a positive and a healthy one?
We always have to take responsibility, Jay. We need to be the change we want to see in the world. And that's what Gandhi said.
Yep.
And always, that is something that has struck me very, very profoundly. Stop saying people have to do this and people have to do that. You do what you can. So yes, employers have a responsibility to contribute. And I'll say this, okay, even if the workspace is not fantastic, the physical environment is not amazing, you don't have a lot of money to renovate, no, that's fine. Create it by creating a team. And in that respect, the leaders in the organization have a huge role to play. Now, I'll tell you one thing that I've always said. People don't leave companies, people don't leave organizations, they leave people. People will stay even if the money is not so big. If they're given offered a small bit of money elsewhere, they will stay if they feel validated, they feel they belong, if the environment is healthy.
Some people say you choose your boss.
You choose your boss, and in a sense, your boss has a lot to play, so a big role to play. So leaders have to foster this atmosphere of creativity, being able to accept feedback and give feedback, welcome ideas. You need to tell people about your plans, the changes you're making. You don't introduce sudden changes. I've heard of companies where a merger and acquisition took place and the people didn't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right.
So you yourself, of course, you have a responsibility. All right, you have to have the attitude to go to work and say that I am going to create my happiness. I am going to create my environment. If you go in there in the morning, it's like, oh, I hate this place. I hate everyone here. That you're going to be projecting to everyone as well.
It's all about the attitude, isn't it,
It
Sheila?
is. It
now, we have a few more minutes left, and I think you have so many valuable tips and advice on how we as individuals can contribute to a healthy workplace. Could you just do a quick recap?
Sure. One of the things I think we need to be able to do, first of all, is to be able to accept feedback without, taking it personally and getting offended. Another thing we need to learn to do is to give feedback in a gracious manner, in a pleasant tonality and physiology. Give it so that people can receive it. I think we need to learn to appreciate each other in the workplace. Very often we can go to a friend and say, hey, thank you very much, but we never give feedback to our boss, right? Very few of us go up to a boss and say, great job. I like what you've been doing. I like the way you've been guiding me. We just think he's the boss. Why should I give him feedback? We need to, everyone needs that validation, right? Another thing we need to do is we need to stop this bad habit of gossiping about people, putting down people. Someone gets promoted, they say, yeah lah, sure lah. I mean, he knows how to butter up the boss, so that's why he got promoted. I don't think those things are very necessary or good. All right? So we go there, we ourselves can project positivity, project happiness to create a little happy little environment around ourselves.
It starts with us itself, Thank you very much, Sheila. What a great way to start the first month of the year itself.
I know. Thank you, Sheila, and we're looking forward to see you in the months to come.
Thank you.
Definitely. And everyone is talking about changing jobs and stuff like that, but you could make a change in your workplace even if you didn't change your job and so.
Yes, and Sheila also mentioned giving feedback to your co-workers. So Jay, I have to say, there's been an absolute pleasure working with you. Let's see what's going on tomorrow on Vbuzz. Financial management is an important aspect, not just of starting a business, but of life. And we'll be speaking to the agency counselling dan pengurusan credit about their social enterprise literacy for youth program that is educating the younger generation on financial matters.
Lots of great work is being done there. But as of 2017, coding has become part of the Malaysian school syllabus, and we'll be speaking to the folks from RIRO and AMDEC who are empowering teachers and student leaders to introduce robotics and coding to students through their latest campaign.
Keep writing to us at vbuzz at astro.com.my and follow us on Instagram at vbuzz_HD. We hope you have a great start to your week, and we hope that it's going to be very productive. And Jay, it has been great working with you today. I hope you have a good week too.
I hope all of you all have a great week too. You too, Shankri. Take care. Good night and bye-bye.